Are you limited on your garden space? Do you garden in a patio or maybe an urban backyard that doesn't have a lot of yard space? Are you gardening from your apartment or a balcony or a condo like I am, and you really don't have any green space? Hi, my name is Belinda, and I am a urban container gardener. And so I'm just taking you through the walk of gardening in my newly purchased green stalks. The green stalk is a tower garden system. This is my first time using a tower garden, so I'm really excited to just kind of experiment with everything that can grow in there. I purchased the original size, so that's the 17-inch length. Each tower comes with 5 tiers, and each tier has 6 pockets. So that gives me plenty of space to experiment with all sorts of uh, different things that I can grow, including this that I'm showing you right here. Look at those beautiful roots. So right now what I'm growing, or that I'm transplanting into the green stalk, is some Swiss chard. This is the pink lipstick color or variety. So I was just showing you the beautiful roots that it has. I'll show you and I'll take you through in a sec when I show you the next one, but this is just me planting up or potting up each container. So for each pocket, what I'm doing is choosing the best variety of the transplant. So I'm looking at each transplant that I have, and then I'm kind of teasing out the one that looks the healthiest, that has good root and good leaf development. I'm looking for good stem development, just making sure that it's not a sickly, scraggly plant that isn't going to do well. Fortunately for me, all of the transplants that I purchased, they're doing excellent. So it was really hard to choose which one would be best, because they all looked great. And so I'm just teasing one out here and then showing you the root system. So I'm also looking at the root development and just making sure that the roots look nice and healthy. Some of them were a little root bound, but that's perfect because we caught it just in time. When plants are root bound like this, what I like to do is tease out the bottom, because the roots have been used to growing in a circular pattern, and I don't want that. I want them to grow all throughout the container. So what I'm doing is I tease out the bottom of the roots, untangle it a little bit. Just be very, very gentle when you're doing this, especially when you're working with small transplants or small seedlings. So I'm teasing out the bottom of the roots. Excuse my head in the camera. Teasing out the bottom, separating it very, very gently. I'm not trying to take anything out, or I'm just trying to tease the roots apart so that way they'll stop growing in that circular pattern. So when I plant them, when they go into their final pocket, then they'll have a little bit more space to spread out. So that's just showing you. I think it's so cool that the roots are pink. That is so cute. So I'm just potting these up. You'll see in these first 2 pockets that I'm potting up, I'm putting 2 plants in there. It's giving me enough space for 2. I know that Swiss chard is going to get really big, so I just want to see how many plants that it can hold. In the next pocket you'll see me do just 1 pocket. And again, that's just more of an experiment to see which size does better. Is it going to be just the 1 plant, or can I do 2 transplants? So this is me again, just choosing the third pockets seedlings. I'm just looking at them, trying to choose the best one. Again, they all looked really, really good, so it was hard to choose which one that I was going to actually plant. So again, so just teasing out the roots, being very gentle and teasing them out a little bit. This one was a little bit more root bound than the other ones were, so that's why you see me tugging a little bit more. And you just want to get rid of any extra debris, anything that would kind of clog up the roots a little bit. So then I'm teasing those out, and you see how big and beautiful the plants are. Like the transplants are going to do really, really well. You'll notice that I'm not supplementing any of the pockets that I'm using just yet. This is fresh potting soil that I'm using in the green stock. So each green stock holds I believe it's a cubic foot, 1 cubic foot per tier. This is, fresh potting, so it has a lot of the nutrients already in it, and I didn't want to shock the seedlings too much. Since I'm just growing them for the greens, I didn't want to shock it too much by adding a lot of the extra nutrients. If I was growing something big like a tomato or an eggplant, or even peppers or a squash or anything like that, I would probably add some nutrients to my planting hole. But for these, since I'm just growing them for the greens, I am not too concerned about it. I just want the plants to get established and be healthy, and then I'll go back, once they're nice and established, I'll go back and add some nutrients and some fertilizer into the soil. So for these are collards. So the next thing on the other side, so I'm doing 3 pockets of the Swiss chard, and then on the other side I'm going to do 3 pockets of the collards. And again, this is my first time using the green stock tower system. Normally I grow all of my gardening I do in containers and grow bags. I also use pots, and I do have a small, there the roots are, they're just beautiful, nice and established. So definitely time to get them in the container. But I do have a small patch of dirt that's in my patio. It's not that deep. It's just kind of like some leftover dirt that was there when they were building out the patio. So I do use that area sometimes to grow some things that I've had a lot of success with. So that's why I know for sure that growing it in the containers will be just fine, because I've had large plants. I've grown okra in that patch of dirt. I've grown sunflowers. I've grown Swiss chard before as well. So I know it'll do great in these containers, which is why I'm not too concerned about having them close together. So here I am just potting up the collard greens. Again, it was really hard to choose because they were all of the seedlings, all of the transplants were just really, really healthy, and they were doing really well. So it was a little hard to choose, but for these, I just stuck to 1 plant per pocket, because I know that with collards, they are going to get big, and I want them to get big. I want them to get as big as possible, because again, I want to see just what each pocket in this container system can do. So you'll see me just doing 1 per, and then for the other ones that I have, I'm gonna use different container sizes, probably some grow bags, and put those close together. So so that's what you see me doing now. It was like, you see the confused look on my face because I couldn't choose which one I wanted. They just all looked really, really good. It's almost like choosing your favorite plant. It's really hard to do. So so I'm just looking at each of the plants, just trying to choose the biggest and the strongest of them all. Again, they all looked good, so I wanted to just make sure I was getting a nice, healthy one. So here, this is just how you can take this out if you're new to gardening. You want to be as gentle as possible. And again, there is the root development. So this one's not too root bound, which is good. But again, you still want to tease out the roots a little bit because it's used to growing in that circular habit. So you want to tease them out. And that way it's ready to grow downward and take up the nutrients from the soil that you're putting it into. So I'm just burying it or planting it at the soil level. So I'm not planting it too deep. So you want to make sure that you're not having the leaves touch the level of the soil too much. And so I'm just backfilling it and making sure that everything is nice and even. And then you'll see me do the next one. Okay, so in this next clip, you're gonna see me kind of struggle a little bit. Again, this is my first time with the green stock, and I thought that I read the instructions pretty well, but what I realized is that this tower, this tier, is actually gonna go on the very top. I'm gonna grow this one on the very top of the rest of the tower, or I may just leave this one by itself, but this one I'm intending it to go on the very top. So I know that this watering basin goes on the very top, and so this is me just trying to figure out how this goes. With the middle, the gray tower is also, it goes in between each layer, and I thought that it went on the top. So I just want to show you, this is the realness of gardening, trying to figure things out. You're not always going to know how to do something the very first time. So this is me just fitting the watering basin on the top of the plants. It connects to the top tier in a certain way. You have to hook each foot into the groove. So I'm just making sure that I have it situated properly and I'm not smushing any of the plants. All the plants are kind of out of the way. And yeah, so excuse me for looking crazy in this next part of the video, but this is, it's real life. So I put the mask on because I started working with some fertilizer and some other things, and I pulled out the soil from the shed, so all of that dust was kind of just getting to me, so I decided to just put a mask on so that I wouldn't make myself sick. So this is me potting up, or excuse me, this is me filling up a pot that I'm going to use for cabbage. So in the cabbage, I added in some blood meal. I added in some fertilizer, just some regular granular fertilizer in there, and some fresh potting soil just to freshen up my my pots. These are container grow bags that I've had, and I just let them kind of sit ever since last spring. So the soil has been sitting there for about a year, and not really, just hasn't been refreshed. So this is me just kind of putting some new life into the pots that I'm going to use for my next plants that you're going to see me plant up. Just making sure that it's nice and fresh and even, and to receive the plants. That was a video clip of me potting up 3 of the cabbage plants. I potted 2 in a 15-gallon grow bag and 1 in, I don't remember how many gallons it is, but just a regular size container. The So those should do pretty well. So this is just me watering everything in. In the green stalk, you water it from that water basin on top, and all of the water just trickles down to the bottom. As you can see, the water is flowing out through a few holes that it has in the bottom, and it evenly waters all of the containers down below. Once I stack everything, it will continue to trickle down. So here's everything nice and watered in. I'm just showing you the cabbage there and the 2 cabbage plants that are growing in, that will be growing in the grow bag. I hoped you enjoyed this overview of my beginner container gardening. Thank you for watching, and until next time, see you soon. Bye-bye.